Alright, so I currently just picked out the 10 best units in Anime Adventures Update 2 currently, alright? So if you have your own opinion or own top 10 units that you want to have or input, definitely leave it in the comments below. But let's quickly get into my top 10. Some things that I have to say first is that all these unit stats are level 70, evolution if possible, and traitless as well, so you don't gotta add on more stats onto it, so it's just easier to identify. Also, all of these are interchangeable for loadouts. I'm gonna say my perfect loadout at the end, and overall, this is just my opinion. So if you have a better opinion, or if you want to share your opinion, definitely leave it in the comments below. But let's get started with the first tier, God. Alright, you already know, Armin, 1 million plus damage, SPA 0.01 per second, which is actually pretty insane. Probably one of the better attack damage units. I don't know if it's the best, but it's definitely up there. The range is basically infinite, since this is like Kira from ASTD that wipes the whole entire map, since it is an ability that kills everything. Since the Colossal Titan, you know, you've seen it in the anime, it's a nuke. It's pretty crazy. The 1 million damage is pretty nice, but the only thing that's holding it down is honestly the fact that he doesn't have a cool animation. You know, his animation's kind of dog. But yeah, that's number one. Let's get on to the second one. So number two, we got Lelouch. This is only good if you can get him, which most people don't even have him, but it's the best summon unit. You know, summons a Gigatron, shoots while it's in the back. The circle's pretty big. Also summons units that also attack for it. Mind control, I've already gone through this in my tier list, but you know why Secret Lelouch is actually really good, since all I just listed: good damage, summon units, laser beam, explosion, mind control, etc. Really good unit overall if you can get him. Probably one of the best. And now let's get into the actual, you know, units that is possibly obtainable for most players, which let's go ahead and start with the mythicals. We got number 3, Shanks. All right, Shanks is probably one of the best mythicals out, if not the best mythicals, just because of the fact that, you know, damage 7.5k plus, SPA 4.6, decent range, full AoE though, so AoE pretty nuts already, and its evolution has the ability to stun enemies even if you have Dio. So for example, if Dio time stops, you could also stun them with Shanks, so it's really an amazing damaging unit and utility unit. So you better get Shanks. If not, then you're missing out. And at number 4, we got a Kaza. All right, I just figured out that a Kaza is actually better than Arima. That was my bad. All right, Arima, I'll talk about that in a bit. But Kaza, all right, 14,000 damage plus with buff. By the way, this is his evolution buff. But normally it does 10,000 plus damage, so that's still pretty good. SPA of 6, not as low as Arima. But the thing that I can say about this, what makes it so good, is not just only because of the buff every third attack, but you could place 5 of these. 5. So let's go ahead and calculate. Let's say 10,000 normally times 5. That's around 50,000 damage compared to Arima's 12,000 times 4, which is only 48,000. Shut up! My bad for that. But yeah, that's the reason why I rank Kaza over Arima. But if you can get a Kaza, that's great. I'd rather get Arima's more viable just because, you know, the raids are longer. But Kaza's way better though. That's what I will say. And then of course I have a Kaza, 12k damage, 5.6 SPA, low SPA, good damage, massive range by the way, large cone AoE, and it's a pretty insane damage unit for story mode and infinite. Just a good unit in general to have. And then of course we have Juzo in the number 6 spot, 7.5k damage. Basically this is all Shanks stats except for the range. It's a little bit higher. Also the AoE is not full AoE, it's cone, which is still pretty nice. Not as good as full AoE, but cone is still really good though. Probably better than circle if you have it in the right circumstances of, you know, laning, but that's not what makes it really good. The thing that makes Juzo really good is the fact that, you know, it bleeds enemies passively on evolution, which if you already don't know what bleed does, it damages the unit and it reduces healing units by 75%. So this is really good for maps like Demon Slayer or the new one for Tokyo Ghoul. So it's an amazing damage and utility unit. Then of course number 7 we have Katakuri. In my tier list I ranked them kind of low just because of the damage, but now that I look at it, honestly the stun and slow just makes it way better. So if you already don't know, 7k damage, 6.2 SPA, 26 range with a large circle AoE. So it's a pretty big circle AoE, but added onto that with the evolution as the ability to stun and slow units. I'm not guaranteed if it stuns. I'm pretty sure it stuns. People have been saying it does stun, but I know it slows. So even if it just slows, that's every hit passively. And I'm pretty sure people are also saying that it's not like time stop. There's a lower cooldown on it. So you just slow every unit that you can, which is an insanely good utility unit. All right, it's an insanely good utility unit. But up next for number 8, I have Eto Ito, whatever you want to to say, alright? A Kainu type damage when it was at level 60, you know, 9 SPA, 50 range though. That's what I will say. Massive cone AoE. Pretty big cone AoE, but that's not what makes it good. What makes it good is that it has the ability to gain 6 damage per enemies killed on anything. I mainly recommend this on Infinite just because it has, you know, the ability to actually kill more units, and so it doesn't get stolen early on. But Infinite, more units come through, get more kills, more damage through the roof. It's pretty good. An insane damage unit. I wouldn't put it over Arima and Kaza just because they have the better generality of using it in story mode, raids, etc. So I rank this a little lower than that, but still really good unit if you have it evolved. And then of course I have your boy Broly. Broly's still up here, man. He's got 10k damage, 10 SPA, 40 range, and full AoE. That's the thing that just makes it really good. Full AoE is just really nice on anything. And then finally I have All Might. I don't know what else to really replace this final spot for number 10, but All Might is up there just because of the fact that, you know, 10k damage, 9 SPA, 21 range, and a large circle AoE. But not only that, it knocks back enemies passively on evolution. So if you have a bunch of these guys, you know, maybe front, back, middle, etc., you can just keep knocking back units. Pair this with Katakuri, you slow them, keep knocking them back. This is amazing for Infinite or raids. Like either way, All Might is still up there. I rank him this low just because I think Katakuri's better, and his SPA is a little higher than most units, but overall still an amazing utility and damage unit for Infinite and raids, etc. But then now that we're done with the top 10, you know, current units in anime adventures, I'm gonna do some honorable mentions, you know, and most of these honorable mentions, or all of them, are actually legendaries just because of the fact that you might need some, and these are really good for some circumstances. So honorable mentions, we got Bulma. This is needed. All right, this is way too needed. You get 10k cash per wave max, and it's the best farm unit. All right, they need to add more farm units to the game. If not, then we're gonna be seeing Bulma for a while now. But we also have Irwin. You know, Irwin, 5k damage per unit summon, 13 SPA, but it does have that buff ability. So if you have like 2-3 more people, they can place down Irwins, just infinitely buff and get more damage off, get higher waves in Infinite, story, or raids, etc. And then Dio is actually one of the better units to have in circumstances like story mode or raids, especially just because it has that early damage and utility, since it does do time stop on its max upgrade. So really good damage and really good utility when it's max. And then another you know, thing that you could swap that out with is Giorno. I don't know much about it, but I know that it's as good or better than Dio in terms of damage for early defense. But yeah, this is also a great unit for early raids as well. And of course we have your boy Pain. If you already don't know, Pain does this little pushback ability. It's kind of like a knockoff Walmart version of All Might, but it's still really good for raids if you don't have All Might and you don't want to spend that much money on him. So if you get him, decent for most raids. And then finally we have Blackbeard. Of course, Blackbeard doesn't, I don't know the damage, SPA, etc., but I know that he has full AoE and has a pretty good debuff ability by reducing their defense by 15% or 25%, somewhere around there, which is honestly really good if you pair it up with other people in your team that have a lot of damage. So overall, those are my honorable mentions and my top 10. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. Maybe you have a better top 10 or you want to share yours. But right there, number 1 I got Armin, number 2 I got Lelouch, 3 Shanks, 4 Kaza, 5 Arima, 6 Juzo, 7 Katakuri, 8 Eto, 9 Broly, 10 All Might. Honorable mentions: Bulma, Irwin, Dio, Giorno, Pain, and Blackbeard. But yeah, those are some pretty amazing units, especially Armin.